Law Gnome, and welcome back to another DCU update. Today, we are definitely going to have a very interesting conversation, because this is also one of two videos that I am making regarding content from the Big Two. I'm going to be doing another video over at That's Comical to discuss one of the newest MCU installments. But today we are here to talk about the newest installment to the DC Tomorrowverse storyline. This is the 8th installment, and regarding the entirety of the library of films that started with Superman Doomsday, this is number 44. So, my goodness, everybody, lots of movies, lots of good, lots of bad, lots of in between. And today's installment is the newest edition, which is Justice League Warworld. This story involves Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman asleep, and conquering and adventuring through dream sequences that have been specifically put together by the controller of Warworld. Of course, we all know that as Mongol. And Wonder Woman goes into the Old West and finds a couple of problems there. Batman goes into a strange, barbaric fantasy world and discovers problems over there. And Superman is a young FBI agent in a 1950s noir black and white setting. Does that sound interesting to you regarding a movie called Justice League Warworld? Let me just say that when I first heard that we were going to Warworld, I got very excited. I was also very much on a high from the previous installment, which was Legion of Superheroes. Really thought that the Tomorrowverse had finally gotten itself in gear and was finally going to be giving up a truly great streamlined story. So, there's definitely a lot of callbacks to some of the previous Tomorrowverse films, especially because of the fact that we see the Martian Manhunter and Lobo at some point in time. I'm quite surprised how they actually managed to fit them into this specific film. But this is not what I expected for a film titled Justice League Warworld. I will give them credit for the creativeness. I will give them credit to giving us characters that we would never have anticipated seeing in this entire DC storyline, like Jonah Hex and Travis Morgan, but this movie was not good. I'm sorry, guys. There was barely much that I truly gained and enjoyed from this, even though there was some very well done animation and action sequences. This film just does not fit the motif of a movie like Warworld, and I also absolutely despised the way that they gave us Mongol. This is not the big, burly, tough talker that we have seen, especially when it comes to the way that we had seen him through the depictions of Bruce Timm. No. This is a very skinny, lanky, soft-spoken dictator that pretty much comes off like Jon Jones himself. Not to say that Jon Jones is a dictator, but very soft-spoken and definitely not egotistical and boastful. I mean, I really did like what they did with the Superman story, just giving us a black and white scenario that really made us feel like I was watching like something out of the old Superman show with George Reeves. Very much War of the Worlds-esque, but it just didn't fit what I wanted from this. I thought I was going to get a ton of action, an arena setting where these three heroes were going to fight, and it also was very strange because of the fact that it was just individual stories told, and until the very end, they finally realized what was going on. Now, granted, there is a very interesting cliffhanger regarding what we're going to be getting next, but I will definitely say that now that I'm taking a look at the Tomorrowverse as a whole, minus a couple of the shining moments that we have gotten regarding these last 8 films, my expectations are extremely low, and it's a shame because we found out that the next project is, in fact, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths. Obviously, they wanted to pay a major tribute to the late George Perez, who just passed away, who, alongside Marv Wolfman, presented the world of comic books, one of the greatest comic book stories ever told. But knowing that we're getting it, and at this point in time we're only getting one film, now don't get me wrong, we have gotten surprises. I remember when I went to see Andy Muschietti's It, and at the very end of the movie it says, end of chapter 1. And also when I watched the very first Dune film, it says at the very beginning of the movie, Dune Part 1. And those two respective films were not advertised as being a part of something grander. So, will we get a surprise and find out that we're only getting the first installment of a series of Crisis on Infinite Earths, possibly 2, maybe even 3 films? I personally feel that Crisis on Infinite Earths should be a trilogy, and that would be a first for the DC Universe animated film library. But guys, if you just want to continue with the continuity, this is a movie that you should see at least once. But if you have no interest in this entire library, don't even bother wasting your money. Justice League Warworld is a really big disappointment. So that's it, everybody. Those are my thoughts on Justice League Warworld, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say in the box below, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.